Episode 55. Biggs and Wedge are running low on time. They're on the run from the Guardians, and it's only a matter of time before they get caught and executed. And here I have Komori taking a break. I should really choose better points in time to take breaks between episodes. But often, I find myself in a situation like this where I'm running low on time and can't find a nice place to actually settle Komori down, both physically and in terms of the story. It's not like I have to do that. I just like doing that between episodes to give some breathing room. There were prisoners aboard the airship, it seems, and they seized the opportunity to flee when the vessel was forced to land. The Guardians who were deployed formed search parties and proceeded to scour the wilderness. In order to alert our forces, I returned to my post to find evidence that someone had been here in my absence. Whoever they were, they tried the door to no avail and decided to go elsewhere. In all, I marked 2 sets of footprints, one large and one small. If you search the area, mayhap you will be able to follow the prints to their owners. There they are. Piece it together, Komori. They go that way. Alright, she figured it out. The cerebral tasks aren't really her job. They're mine, I guess. Not like I'm much smarter. You can do this, Komori. That away. And it's Komori's job to kill. One more time, Komori. I can feel it. You're almost there. Right over there. Never mind. There are more. Surely this would only make things easier for you, right, Komori? Not more complicated? They're all going in the same direction. You don't have to stop for every footprint, Komori. You can do this, I believe in you. Ugh, so cold. I want to go home. Oh, please don't eat me. I'm not nearly as succulent as I look. It's all skin and bones underneath, I swear. Komori, it's you. Thank goodness you're here. It's been awful. The Guardians were snapping at our heels like a hungry pack of wolves. I was so hell's-bent on evading them, I almost ran headlong into a monster's gaping maw. Twice. And when I finally found cover, it hit me how cold and hungry I was. Biggs? He isn't here. He went off in a different direction, to lure our pursuers away. It's me, Sid. Have you had any success? Track down Wedge. That's wonderful news. Now what of Biggs? I see. Well, it hardly surprises me that the big fellow went off as he did. For all the tongue lashings he gives Wedge, he's always taking care of him. I've scoured the area surrounding the Darkhold, but I have nothing to show for it. At any rate, we know for a fact that Biggs headed west, with both Ida and Yshtola helping out. I'm sure he'll turn up soon. Now then, I'll make my way over to your position while keeping an eye out for Biggs. If memory serves, there should be an Ishgardian fortification not far to the west. Monument Tower, I believe it's called. Let us meet there. Do I hope? Was that Master Garland you spoke with? After 5 long years. Thank goodness he's alive. I'm feeling better now, Komori. Let's go to Monument Tower and wait for the chief to arrive. Well, this is rather embarrassing. I came here sightseeing in the previous 2 episodes or something, under the assumption that I would never come here during the main story. I completely forgot that this happened. I guess this is the part of the main story that actually takes you to this corner. Perhaps the main story takes you to more corners of Eorzea than I remember. I guess I didn't give it enough credit. Well met and welcome, adventurer. What brings you to this frozen corner of the realm? Oh? It would seem your companion has caught a chill. Come and warm yourself by the fire. I'll bring you a hot broth. I could use a hot broth myself. How are you feeling now then? Stay here as long as you need. The same goes for you, friend. It's plain you have a hard journey ahead of you. You must find rest when you can. Damn, this would have been the perfect place to take a break, rather than that dark cave I did last episode. I should have gone on just a little bit longer. Too late now, I guess. Just imagine, I would have sat here, I would have turned the HUD off, and I would have said, now would be a good time to take a break, as we stared into the fire. But we have plenty more episode to go. Hindsight is 20/20. I'm fine now, thanks to you. But I can't bear to think that Biggs is still all alone in the cold, with Garleans on his heels. He lured the enemy away for my sake, and now he's suffering for it. I hate to have to rely on you again, Komori, but do you think you could search for Biggs? I haven't the slightest notion where he might be at the moment, but maybe, just maybe, the people here have seen something. A Rogadin man, gentleman, dressed in the same manner as your companion. I'm sorry, but he did not come by here. Let me think a moment. I would not raise your hopes unduly, but there is a cave situated in a short distance to the south. We call it the Fury's Gaze, and it may be worth a while to investigate. I make this suggestion only because your friend seems like a selfless sort. Rather than drawing the enemy to this tower, mayhap he elected to pass us by. I can't believe it. The main quest even takes you to the Fury's Gaze, an area that I previously assumed I had never been to before, but evidently I had been there exactly 1 time previously on my main character, when doing this quest. At least 1 other time, maybe there are other times I'm still forgetting. The scenery was wholly unfamiliar to me. But I guess you do the main quest here. I must have been rushing through to not take this in. Now if I attack with Ifrit or Garuda, it'll be an AoE, and it'll attack everything within the range of the opponents. For Ifrit, it's a cone, and Garuda, it's a circle. Which would mean we would draw the attention of all these level 48 plasmoids if we happen to catch them in the crossfire. I'll try to keep that in mind whenever this enemy appears. Probably a few Guardians, I assume. Or not. Well, we're drawing attention. Time for AoEs. No bigs. I guess it was a long shot that a random person in a tower would point us in a random location and be right on the money. Komoi, were you able to learn anything? Not in this area? Well, that stands to reason. I suppose, seeing as he was trying to lure the Guardians away from me. But where within this vast sea of snow and ice could he be? I think we're going to find Biggs in this mission. We can't give up, Komoi. We must find Biggs before he succumbs to the cold or is recaptured. There must be someone in this tower who can help us, even if it's only to tell us where to look. Ask them for me. Ask anyone who'll listen, and hurry. Biggs' chance of survival grows slimmer by the moment. I guess you have a very important job of sitting by the fire and warming up, don't you? I shouldn't be too rude to the guy. He was probably running a marathon away from the Guardians for hours. And I even took a break between episodes while he was doing that, making him wait on me. I guess he deserves a little break. I guess we even talked to this guy. Your friend is lost in the wilderness, you say? If he's not to be found around here or within the vicinity of the Darkhold, it is possible he made for Whitebrim. To reach it, one must travel through Danafin Pass, the southern end of which lies to the north and east of here. While I make no guarantee that your search will bear fruit, it is surely better than worrying in idleness. I wish you luck. Oh, and one more thing. Do tread warily when climbing the stairs here. Not a moon ago I near broke my neck when I slipped and took a tumble. He did mention that last time we talked to him. Don't die to a puddle while I'm gone. Chocobos are very good at climbing stairs. They're like Skyrim horses. They have insanely good traction. And like the other time I went sightseeing here, apparently this place I came to sightsee at is in fact a location that you visit in the main quest, rendering the sightseeing I did redundant. Well, I'm no stranger to wasting time, I guess. I was hoping we'd visit a sanctuary much earlier, but I guess we're doing a lot of stuff in the summoner outfit. It's not terrible. Our orders are to take you back, dead or alive. Which will it be, engineer? Why don't you come and find out, Tinhead? Ah, Komoy, it is well that you are here. The situation is grave. Pigs is in a bad way. We need to do something right now. Nida has the right of it. He will perish if we delay. With me. He's not alone. Kill them all. Oh my god. That's a lot more enemies. Who do we take care of first? Yes, this guy. Single target, one at a time. Take out as much as we can with the higher mobility stuff. And hopefully, after doing that, there will be less AoEs on the ground for us to do a long cast. Should probably take out the smaller guys first. I think the Decurion will stay up the longest. I'm chained? What hit me? I guess I was targeting the wrong guy? Should have shot or killed this guy first. I wasn't really keeping track of that battle too well. My thanks. Another moment and I would have... He has been too long in the cold. We must find shelter for him. Monument Tower, you say? Very well. Ida and I shall bear him there with all haste. Sid will be so happy to see Biggs and Wedge again. Aw, I love reunions. I think I could have kept a better track of who was taking damage in that fight among my allies. Ishol was playing the role of healer, I think, so probably would have been best to target whoever was targeting her first. Just in case she goes down and we fail the duty instantly or something. Though that would be true for any of our party members with a name, I guess. Even if they're DPS or whatever. Well, we got through. I cannot thank you enough, Komoy. And the same goes for the rest of you. Thank you all so much. Oh, don't mention it. We are a family, are we not? Oh, well yes, it's just I didn't think I'd ever see him again. I owe you lot my life. And you save Wedges too, Komoy. I'm losing count of how many I owe you. Biggs, Wedge. Gods, it's good to see you two again. Chief, it's really you. In our hearts, we knew you were still alive. but to finally see you in the flesh. When Alfino told me of the raid on the Waking Sands, I feared the worst. What happened? The enemy struck with nary a warning. We didn't stand a chance. Wedge and I were in the workshop when they came. Before we knew what was happening, the Imperials had us at gunpoint. It must have been awful. There's one thing I don't understand, though. How did the Guardians get there so fast? I mean, the Immortal Flames should have seen them coming, right? I myself have asked the same question. That day when I returned to the carnage at the Waking Sands, I noted not a miss in horizon. Nothing at all to suggest the passing of an Imperial force. From this I conclude that the Guardians came neither by land nor air. Nay, they were born there by potent teleportation magics. Magics of the kind used by the Ascians. Carry on. We were bound and blindfolded and bundled into the cargo bay of a waiting airship. I can't rightly say how long we were aboard, but when the time came for us to disembark, we found ourselves in the midst of an Imperial stronghold, Castrum Sentry. Upon arrival, we were marched off into the main complex. Biggs and I were thrown into a detainment cell together, while Minfilia and the others were taken elsewhere. That was the last we heard from them. Castrum Sentry. What happened next? Well, we were held in isolation for what felt like years, but was probably moons, or maybe only weeks. And then without warning, the Imperials collected the pair of us, and put us on another vessel, which we found out was bound for Garlemald, much to our dread. We knew that if we were taken back there, we weren't like to leave again. So, risky though it was, we sabotaged the ship's altitude control, and thereby forced an emergency landing. And in the midst of the ensuing chaos, we managed to slip our captors. The rest, as they say, is history. Huh. If I didn't know better, I'd call that a likely story. Sabotaging the altitude controls of an airborne vessel. That will have been Biggs' handiwork, like as not. You always were resourceful, in a tight spot, my friend. Komor, thank you for returning my dear assistance to me. It would seem I owe you yet another debt of gratitude. There are still many questions in my mind, but the answers can wait. Minfilia and the others still want for rescue. Alright, you lot. Garland Ironworks is back in business. Let's go and give the Imperials what for. Hurrah! I have to remember, I can turn off the HUD during cutscenes. Sometimes when I'm looking for a handy thumbnail for Final Fantasy, I sometimes look at a certain pose during a cutscene and think, this would be a great thumbnail if it weren't for the text box at the bottom. But I have the power to remove that myself, so as long as I can remember, I only have myself to blame. Thank goodness you found me, Komori. I would have been frozen, drowned, or eaten by a mud puppy if it wasn't for you. I knew the chief was still alive. Deep down, I always knew. And he looks healthy, too. Well, he could do with a shave, I suppose, but other than that. Yeah, I was thinking, I think Sid is supposed to be like a young guy. Pretty young, anyway. In 1.0, he was kind of the same appearance, but without the beard. And that would look pretty young, right? But in 2.0, because he became Marquez for a brief period, he has this beard, which makes him look much older, which I guess makes sense for a 5-year time skip a little bit, but I think he looks much older than he actually is. It's hard to tell, actually. The glow of Pee-Pee, my carbuncle. It's always in the corner of the screen, making it annoying whenever I talk to someone. I unsummon Pee-Pee to get rid of the glow, but then I forget to re-summon Pee-Pee when it's time to fight an enemy. Every time. Well, it doesn't matter. Thanks to you, Biggs and Wedge are with us again. Now we must find a way to rescue Minfilia and the others. Gods know we've kept them waiting too long already. Based on what we've learned, I believe it's safe to say they're being held at Castron Sentry. So let us convene at Revenant's Toll in Mordona. 'Tis as good a place as any to prepare, better than most. The road leading east and south will get you there. When we arrive, let us seek the advice of the local adventurers. We're bound to learn a thing or two that will benefit our mission. Well, that's just great. In the previous episodes, I was just exploring around this area as part of my sightseeing and also entering into the final quests of the Summoner. But all along, I could have just done the main story quest, and I would have been able to do the Summoner quest alongside it in parallel. Oh well. At least I'm doing it in the same session. And there we go. Actually, now that we're here, that reminds me. I guess we can get the gear that we're able to dye from this guy. Well, it depends on what he asks for trading. If we did want to use the summoner gear but change the color a bit, maybe that would be something that we can use to differentiate between our Summoner and Black Mage class, which are currently just using the same outfit. But it looks like we need weird things in order to even unlock those. We have the Evoker stuff, but we need Evoker's Attire Augmentation. How do we get those? Vintage equipment's fallen out of favor of late, though we still deal in them at Rowena's behest. They're now bespoke items. She won't have valuable shelf space taken up by wares that don't sell, you see. That's probably dialogue that changed after whatever event or gameplay you had to do to get the gear originally was outdated. And now the only thing that remains is this forge sales. But I don't know how you're supposed to get it. That we have already, I think. Yeah. But to get the stuff that you can change colors for, you need Evoker's Attire Augmentation. How do you get that? I don't think anyone here will tell us. Do you sell them? No, glamour prisms. And the like. This is crafting and gathering. Not you. No. I guess I'll look it up some other time. If I'm even interested in getting the dyeable gear for Summoner. There are probably better options. These I know are more for endgame level 50 stuff, even beyond that as well. Which I don't have access to, apparently. Ah, very high tech. I don't think that matches what I'm going for though. It's a little bit distracting. Masterworks? No. Not the ironwork stuff. Uncanny knickknacks? No, I'm gonna have to look it up later. For now, the only thing differentiating my Black Mage and Summoner outfit is going to be the horns. Well met, friend. What brings you to Revenant's Toll? Did I hear you rightly? Your friends are being held captive at Castrum Sentry, and you want to rescue them? I don't mean to discourage you, but that might prove difficult. The Stronghold has been on high alert of late, with armored patrols seen about the perimeter around the clock. Not even a fly could get within 100 yards of the walls undetected. If the Guardians were alerted to our coming, we cannot know what they will do to Minfilia and the others. We must act with the greatest stealth. Aye. It has to be good old-fashioned infiltration. But with security so tight, how are we going to smuggle ourselves in? Why, I have the mind to walk through the front door. Huh? The front door? Aye. We'll disguise ourselves as Imperial troops and march right in. For this, we'll need a few sets of Imperial uniforms, a suit of Magitech armor, and impeccable timing. Yeah, that's a bold strategy, but it might just work. Where we are, there's certainly no shortage of opportunities to borrow the equipment. Knowing those Imperial bastards, they won't even suspect that we savage Eorzeans would think to use their technology. Then it's settled. If you're determined to go ahead with this, I'd recommend you speak with Clement. The fellow's got a personal grudge against the Empire, and happens to know a deal about Castrum Sentry besides. I've no doubt he'd want to be of aid. Ida and I shall go to reconnoiter Guardian activity at the Stronghold. Would not do if something were to befall our comrades before we had the chance to act. Come and join us when you're ready, Komoi. Let's do this. Sometimes I wonder, Ida, are there ever times where you are not enthused? I'm nothing if not enthused, Ishtola. And you're beginning to remind me of Papa Limo. Nothing if not enthused. That's Ida. Looking for Galmunt, are you? Well, you found him, whoever you are. Eh? You're looking to get inside Castrum Sentry? And you need my help? Eh. Something tells me we're gonna get along just fine. So, you have friends like Castrum Sentry what want for rescue. That Slaftborn knows me too well. You can count on my help. I've got a score to settle with the Imperials, and I never pass on an opportunity to get back at the Whoresons. But enough about me. Let's talk strategy. Rescuing folk from captivity is right delicate business. A single oversight, just one little blunder and it's all over. You can't leave any room for uncertainty. For starters, you need to confirm beyond the shadow of a doubt that your friends are who you think or where you think they are. You don't want to risk your neck only to discover that they've been moved elsewhere. But how can you find out, you ask? By following these instructions. If you approach Sentry from the east, you'll find a swampland to your left called the Tangle. Get in there. Never mind all the marbles, and navigate your way to the southwestern corner. You'll come upon some drainage pipes coming down from the Stronghold. Don't ask me how I know, but one of them leads back up to the command tower. if you listen closely, might be as you can eavesdrop on some of the happenings within. Once we know for certain your friends are there, we'll move to the next stage of the operation. Now get going, and Godspeed. And the first time I'm exploring this part of Mordona. The other part. Mordona is really small compared to the other two. As in, this is all there is to Mordona. Whereas the other 3 sections, or 4 sections, have at least other places to go to, other zones. Black Shroud has like 4 or 5. Dandalan, same. And the Nocia. And then there's Coerthus, which in A Realm Reborn only had the one area, but was then expanded upon in Heavensward, so it's pretty big in its own right. Especially because the design of this area is so open. But Mordona, kind of weird. Why is it its own thing? I guess lore-wise it's not part of any of the other 3 locations, so it has to be in its own location in the map. It's not the Black Shroud where the Gridanians have free reign and not Thanalan. Or is it? Is Mordona part of Thanalan? Whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just a map. Who cares? I don't need to talk about it. Maybe there was more to it. In 1.0 or something. Just a theory. A lot of places changed between 1.0 and 2. A lot of areas were added, I think. Some of them stayed the same and changed a little bit visually. But I think there were even some areas that were removed, even areas within the city-state itself. Or each city-state. Great. Our first time fighting one of these guys. Forgot to summon. Don't want to get hit by that. I got hit by it. Damn it. This could be the end for me. Look at all those debuffs. I thought I ran out of it in time. Should actually stand closer to the marble to get out of the cone attack a bit more easier. At least short stack is healing me. Those debuffs last forever. No? Okay. I hope it's not a marble. We can deal with this. The faint sound of conversation echoes down the pipe. What of the captive? Does she still refuse to speak? She may as well be a deaf mute for all the information we've gotten out of her. The others aren't much better. The Elezen gets on my nerves most of all. Every time he opens his mouth, it's only to spout gibberish. I do wonder why is the Tribunus so obsessed with this Minfilia woman? They say she possesses some mystical power, something we Guardians don't have. Mystical power? Like the Beastmen use? How am I supposed to bloody know? If you're so curious, why don't you ask the Tribunus yourself? Oh, as well as... What does that mean? As well try to tumble her. I like my head where it is. Thank you very much. Our break is over. Best we get back to our stations. The footfalls grow fainter until all is silent. Mission accomplished. Triple triad? No. That's a Guardian Castrum. Who's playing triple triad there? Dressing up as soldiers and sneaking in the front door, eh? Well, if you've got the guts to go through with it, then so do I. Oh boy, I always wanted my own Reaper. I would wash her and wax her and name her and... Stealth and subterfuge, Komoi, are how we will free our friends. I have every confidence you can play the part of an Imperial soldier. Tis good to see you again, Komoi. I'm given to understand you have conducted some reconnaissance. Tell me, what were you able to learn? So Minfilia and the others are indeed at Castrum Sentry. Their presence thus confirmed, we may proceed with the mission. While you were afield, Sid took the liberty of devising a plan of action. Pray, have the details from him. Good work, Komoi. As Alphinaud already told you, we've plotted out a course for the rescue. The gist is unchanged. We disguise ourselves as Imperial soldiers and infiltrate the stronghold. Glamoont is looking into ways to procure a suit of Magitech armor. In the meantime, I need your assistance with some preparation of my own. Enfilia and the others are counting on us, Komoi. Let us not keep them waiting any longer than necessary. You're glowing again. While Glamoont goes about devising his plan, we need to see to some preparation of our own. It wouldn't do if the Imperials were to discover that they're short in armor. To prevent this from happening, I'm going to put together a makeshift communications jamming device. The explanation is like to get a bit technical, so bear with me. Imperial forces communicate at a distance via electromagnetic waves. Simply put, voices are born upon etheric lightning energy that permeates the air. Now the hillside cluster of corrupted crystals to the west has been observed to amplify the self-same energy. By making use of this property, we should be able to drown out the Imperial voices. To ensure that we have enough amplification, we must identify the most potent crystals among the cluster. For this, I need you to go there and use this device to take readings. I'll mark the likely places on your map. Oh, and just so you know, plasmoids are drawn to lightning energy. Don't be surprised if you run into a few. Wait. This is another weird instance where we have two main story quests in parallel. What? Oh, we get an emote. Clean the wax out of your ears now, because there's something I want you to do by way of preparation. The plan's to have you enter Castrum Sentry, all decked out in Imperial duds. But a disguise is more than just the clothes you're wearing. You also gotta act the part. At the very least, you need to know how to perform a convincing Imperial salute. First impressions are everything, as they say. I could teach you the salute myself, of course, but it's best you learned it from the experts. So get yourself near as you dare to Castrum Sentry, and watch the Imperials doing what they do. Seems like that kind of puts the plan at jeopardy, if we put ourselves in range of being seen ourselves, just to learn how to do a salute. I guess Komori's always been one to learn in the field, rather than to learn by teaching. Right, the crystal. Over here, right? Or is it above us? Maybe, there it is. Sometimes a quest like this is, you only have to find the right one, and you can ignore the rest. At least I think it's sometimes like that. In this case, I think you have to go through all of them, one by one. Unless the one at the top is the only one you need. Hope that guy doesn't notice me. Good. Alright, this way, please. There it is. And we'll talk to Sid later. Reconnaissance is not yet complete. Yes, it doesn't look like this is the castrum that we saw from all the way in Coerthus. When we were standing on top of the tower, looking at the distant skyline. There is no giant, towering building that we saw similar to what we saw in Coerthus. So either what we saw from Coerthus was a completely different building that we've never seen before, or it could also be that it is actually the tall building that you see from Vesper Bay, all the way over in Danalan, despite how preposterous that sounds, given the amount of distance. See, this is the kind of thing that throws a plan in jeopardy. Well, I guess we're killing them so they don't talk. Seems kind of brutal, though. Just to learn how to do a salute. Nothing to report, sir. We have received an anonymous warning that insurgent forces are near. We must redouble our vigilance. I shall recommend that patrols be increased. Ah, haven't explored this area, right. I guess this is the last area I haven't explored yet. I'm pretty sure the story will take us here at some point. No, that's right, it definitely does. Feels like... 1, 2, 3... Yeah, it definitely feels like this area, Northern Danalan, should be a part of Mordona instead, to kind of even out the distribution of areas, like a different zone in Mordona here, rather than just have this place all on its lonesome. I say that knowing what exactly lies in that area, and thematically it's kind of similar to what's in Mordona, I guess. Like, visually and whatever populates that location. Black Shroud has 4 areas that you can explore. 4 main areas, that is. Danalan has 5, if you include this area up here. Lenosia has quite a number, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? That's preposterous. I guess they're all different. Trying to even out the areas maybe isn't so easy as I imagine. Maybe it's better that they're not all even. If they all had the same number of zones to them, it would feel rather dull, wouldn't it? Too formulaic. I guess this is nice in its own way. So, did you manage to learn the Imperial Salute? No. Best you don't demonstrate. I'm liable to fly into a rage and crack skulls. I'll just take your word for it. Really now? You don't like it when I do... this? You hate that, do you? Oh, and the actual clothes. Thought that would come from one of Sid's quests. You're called Komori Moriko, yes? I have heard of your plight from my friend Glowmont. As a fellow adventurer and son of Eorzea both, I would offer you my assistance. In order to infiltrate Castrum Sentry, you and your comrades must disguise yourselves as Imperial soldiers. The question is how to go about acquiring the uniforms and helms. There are places a man might purchase them, but individuals who deal in such wares are not the sort to whom you would entrust your secrets. It would be more prudent, I believe, to procure what you need via traditional means, from the bodies of their recently deceased owners. The fortified area before Castrum Sentry never lacks for Imperial patrols. It ought not take long to obtain 3 sets of gear, one for each member of the infiltration team, Biggs, Wedge, and yourself. When you have what you need, please return here and allow me to inspect the spoils. That's kind of rough, getting them off the bloody corpses of people. Not only might that ruin the actual disguise, but it seems like it would be easier to get those uniforms by buying them, like that guy said. Even if it does leave a paper trail, I don't know. You can even probably get them from the market board. I don't think they're quest-specific gear. Have you the readings? Excellent. Here, let me see the numbers. Yes. 4 of these crystals should suit our purpose, though I pray that we won't have need of their power. My thanks, Komori. Alright, one more backtrack back into the front gate of the Castrum. Well, I guess we'll have to backtrack another time, when we actually go and do the rescue. There might even be an additional backtrack before then, if there are more quests in between. Here we go. Oh, we need uniforms and helms. I see. Were you able to obtain three sets of Imperial equipment? Damaged, as I had suspected, obviously. In their present condition, I fear these uniforms and helms are like to draw suspicion. They must be repaired, if only superficially. Fortunately, the blacksmith Aganoff at the Diamond Forge in Rowena's House of Splendors should be able to hammer them into shape in no time. I've already sent word ahead, and have been assured that he is expecting you. Worry not. We have already impressed upon him the need for utmost secrecy as to the nature of your mission. This guy again. So you're the venturer Sark Malark sent, are you? I've been waiting for you. Now let's see what you got me. I see. Yes. I reckon I can hammer these back into shape for you. After all, I owe your friend Sark Malark a favor or two. Took good care of old Aganoff back in the days before I fell in with old Rowena, he did. Did you know he's the son of one of the wealthiest families in the Sultanate? Malark, Wouldn't expect someone like that to end up in the life he did, but I suppose he always felt the venturous life calling him. But here I go, blabbering on when there's work to be done. Just hold your horsebirds for a moment or two, and the great Aganoff will have your gear looking good and new. And there we have it. Won't do you much good in battle, mind you, but from what I hear, that's not your priority anyhow. Do send Sark Malark my regards, will you? Have you had the uniforms and helms repaired? Yes, these will serve beautifully. The great Aganoff never fails to impress. The quality of these repairs would fool even a legatus. Thus equipped, you should not have any trouble blending in amongst the Imperial forces. Lest you fear that the Garleans may detect your foreignness. Foreigners, in fact, form the greater part of the Garlean invasion force in Eorzea. You see, when the Empire subjugates new territory, it assimilates the people of that land into its armed forces. In turn, these conscripted forces are sent to subjugate faraway lands. In this way, Garlemald nips rebellion in the bud and expands its territory in one fell stroke. With that, my part in your mission is done. I am full glad to have been of assistance to your cause. Why would I, a wealthy merchant, wish to help you? I know not where you heard such a tale, but believe me when I say that I am but another humble adventurer, one who desires only to act in the best interests of the realm. Interesting thing about Mordona, a town of adventurers, more so than any other town that you come across. Kind of a weird place, this. Hence why it becomes the endgame hub for adventurers, I guess. I can't believe we have another quest. Is this the actual infiltration? It is. Which means, now would be a good time to take a break.